Okay, this video falls under the category of making an argument. And my argument is that you can get from waves to evil. And before I start that, you have to realize that you cannot have waves traveling through nothing. That is to say that sound waves don't travel through space. So the medium sound travels through is air molecules. But when we're talking about photons, electrons, quarks, I guess we're more talking about when we're talking about photons, they also are waves and they do travel through space. So in theory, you can think of empty space as having just as much ether in it, which the photons travel through, as solid mass, such as the earth or air or water. And what we're getting from that is an establishment that we have waves. Waves require something to travel through, and you can't have waves without something to travel through. And this is, like I say, an argument. I'm making the argument that you have to have something to travel through in order to have waves. Okay, so we're starting with waves. So once we get to waves, what we're doing is we're using these waves to create photons. These waves later create electrons, protons, neutrons. But the next step is from electrons, protons, neutrons, we have atoms. Once we have atoms, then the atoms make up the earth and the sun and the planets. They also make up molecules, and we have the energy from the sun, and 100 million things just happen to work right. And these molecules are capable of reproducing, able to create very intricate forms, and these intricate forms are capable of reproducing more intricate forms of itself. From this point, we have life. The next step after life is establishing a community within life, and then evil and good establish from that, saying what's good for the individual, what's good for the community. From here, and the community does not have to necessarily be one particular life form. It can be a group of life forms. So once we consider what's good for the individual and what's good for the group, then we can say what's good for the group falls into the category of good. What's not good for the group falls into the category of evil. Now, this is a huge ladder step, as in it's one step after another step, after another step, after another step. But we can get from ether to good and evil, but it's not a single jump. And that is my argument, is that you can get from waves to evil. And it's just not something that it's not something that the consciousness would consider, but you have to think of it in long term and in many, many steps. And I'll see you on another video.